Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the two exercises that I believe and research has shown to reduce all-cause mortality. Again, if you haven't heard about me, my name is Julian Sisman. I'm a PhD candidate. My PhD is in human and sports performance. So I have I would say, relatively strong background in research and understanding what it says. And I plan to continue to talk more about research on this channel, along with exercises and all sorts of other things that I plan to show. But we have heard, if you have not heard, Peter Attia talks about how exercise is the best probably thing for longevity. Um, and you could say it's a drug, but I think it's just a dose that you should be incorporating into your life pretty regularly. So when we talk about exercise, we talk about it from two standpoints. Many will talk. I look at exercise as like two things. You're either doing aerobic or you're doing some form of resistance training, or you're doing some type of movement. What is important for longevity, based on the research, strength training alone reduces all-cause mortality about 27% when you hit about, that's only like 60 minutes a week. So if you're doing resistance training 3 times a week, that's about 20 minutes a day. So, and that's like, that's a very minimal amount of exercise. But depending on the goals of the individual, within 20 minutes, not a lot can be done as far as volume goes when it comes to resistance training. So I think it does reduce, you got to look at it from like, it does reduce all-cause mortality, but from a standpoint of like, if someone wants to get stronger, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't get strong in 20 minutes a day. You really have to be selective on your exercises. But when it comes to volume, 20 minutes, 3 times a week, you're probably not going to get a significant amount of volume unless you're just hitting like a few exercises with a lot of sets and reps. But at the end of the day, from all-cause mortality standpoint, 20 minutes, 3 times a week reduces risk of all-cause mortality by about 27%. When they compared that to cardio, there was a reduction in cardio with a minimum effective dose of about 1 hour a week of moderate to like high how do I want to say it so it's understand, high vigorous, so like pretty intense running. I would say it reduces risk about 20%. So, but at the end of the day, I think what really is important is what gives the best to reduce all-cause mortality. And they talk about if you combine aerobic exercise and resistance training, the and again, this is only like, a few times a week. This is like once or twice a week of resistance training, once or twice a week of aerobic training at a moderate pace. It reduced risk of all-cause mortality up to 41%. So we can conclude from this that it's super important that you incorporate both. And there's another individual that talks about this a lot. And there's another conversation of there's another conversation we can have about this that talks about how and there's tons of research on this, and I'll put it below, about if your VO2 max, and Peter Attia talks about this as well, will the higher your VO2 max as you age actually significantly increases your all-cause mortality. So at the end of the day, we can conclude that an efficient heart is going to make you, live longer, obviously, because you can't live without a heart. So it's super important that you do resistance training. Why? Because resistance training helps with tons of things. So bone density, increased muscle mass, can help with lowering blood sugar, can help with lowering blood pressure. So there's a number of different things as we age tend to go in the opposite direction, but you can keep these stable and in healthy ranges if you incorporate these forms of exercise into your daily routine. If this sounds very helpful, or you would like to learn a little bit more about how I can help you, click the link in the bio for a consult. We can talk on the phone. We can talk via Zoom about these different things and how you can incorporate these things into your daily routine. We have online and in-person training. But to sort of conclude this, at the end, you can sum this up as it's super important to incorporate moderate to vigorous physical aerobic work into your weekly routine. It's important to incorporate resistance training at least one or 2 days a week into your daily routine. And this is at minimum dose, okay? So if an individual wants to increase muscle and wants to increase strength, obviously you're going to need to do more based on what I said before about volume. So this is super important, but at the end of the day, what's also really important is nutrition. I talk about this a lot with my members, my clients that come into our facility. Nutrition is a very important, and probably to me is one of the more important things, because you got to make sure that even though you're exercising, you can't just go home and eat, bad food. I've talked about this in a number of different videos. If you want to learn more, I can click the link below to show you when I talk about nutrition and how it's super important to incorporate proteins, carbs, fats, all that. You got to understand how to incorporate it. You got to understand how much you need. But variety of food is important. Making sure you're getting enough fiber. There's tons of research that talks about fiber and different types of cancer. It helps reduce. Obviously, protein is super important to help you with reducing your need for food constantly. Again, these are good, high quality, lean proteins. That might be chicken, that might be beef, that might be fish, seafood, whatever. It's important that you incorporate these, because that's the only way you're going to build muscle. Obviously, you're going to build muscle based on the volume of food, but it's important that you have enough protein as well to build muscle. Anyways, again, like I said, incorporate these two things into your daily routine, again, and you're going to reduce your all-cause mortality by 41%. Okay, 41% is a significant amount. So if you find this helpful, please subscribe, like this video, and I will be, putting out more content on, similar topics and other different topics that will help you live a long and strong and healthy life. Peace.